So, hello everyone, and welcome back to STW Sports. I'm host Samuel Ryan. I'm joined by Chris Thorpe, and we're going through the footballing weekend review from the main Premier League fixtures. And we're going to start with Friday night football, which was Newcastle United 1, Leeds United 1. No one in 5 now for Marcelo Bielsa's men, Chris. A little bit of a stumbling start for them. What did you make of this game overall?
Yeah, it was an interesting one, to be fair, mate. I mean, it was pretty equal contest for much of the game. I'd say Leeds had the better of the play in terms of chances. Nothing that clear-cut. And then obviously took the lead with a fortuitous goal through Rafinha, which cross just sailed all the way in. And I think they'll be disappointed because they didn't take those chances that they did have. And then obviously St. Maximin's come up with an a very good goal. Obviously running sort of across the box and finishing into the bottom corner. So yeah, I'd say Leeds be really disappointed with the result, to be honest. And yeah, I think their defensive issues are probably a tag concern for Bielsa.
I mean, obviously, in terms of Newcastle, though, Allan Saint-Maximin, of course, the main talking point is in a player there. Do you think that they're going to really struggle to hold on to him if he does have a very good season?
Yeah, definitely. If he hits double figures for goals and assists combined, then you can definitely see one or two of the higher league clubs in the Premier League, or maybe even clubs from abroad taking a look at him. It all depends on when Newcastle finished in the league. Obviously, not many people in favour of Steve Bruce being in charge. But if they can keep picking up results here and there, then I would think they'd finish higher mid-table, to be fair. But yeah, I think the plus point for them is they'll get good money for St. Maximin when he does eventually leave. So yeah, it's just part of football, isn't it? You're not always going to keep your top players. Now and again, they're going to move on.
Yep, and moving into Saturday now, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Brentford 2. Fair play to Brentford. They look right at home in the top tier. Like, what did you make of their performance at Molineux? What have you made of their Premier League run so far in general?
Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, they sort of stuck with a 3 at the back style this season, and Christopher Ayer, I'm pretty sure he got on Team of the Week for his performance at centre back. Been a really good signing from Celtic. But they've got some great technicians in there. Rico Henry's a player I really like at left wing back. Obviously, came through the Football League with Walsall and then got his move to Brentford, and he's just been there ever since. And then they got Even Tony, who's obviously got a goal and an assist in the game at the weekend, setting up in Benmo after he'd also scored earlier in the match. So yeah, no, they got some good technical players. They recruit right. They don't exactly overspend. And then the players they do sign, they usually sell on for a profit. So it seems to work for them. And, they've just sort of transferred that to the Premier League. And yeah, good on them, to be fair. They've started really well.
Obviously, as for Wolves, been a great few years for Wolves, to be honest, obviously, but now Nuno Espirito Santo has departed, of course, and they are starting to lose a few players we saw go in the summer. Do you feel like Wolves might start to struggle a little bit more going forward in the Premier League?
Yeah, really frustrating to watch, actually. They're another team, sort of like Leeds, they're having a lot of chances, they're just not taking them. Obviously, with Jimenez had his terrible injury to his skull, and now he's back, but obviously it's going to take him a while to get up to speed. I don't think people would be expecting him to hit double figures like he was previously. And then you got Adama Traore, who's obviously one of the standout players for them. So quick, but again, his end product lets him down, and I think that's why he hasn't got to move to a bigger club. So yeah, there's enough quality there for them to turn things around, but yeah, it's not started well for Bruno Lage at Molineux.
Obviously, moving into the 3:00 on kickoffs now on Saturday. Norwich City 1, Watford 3. This felt like a 6-pointer ready for both teams. Obviously, Watford had that good win on the opening day against Aston Villa, but not really hit form since. And Norwich, yes, they've had a tough fixture list, but it's been a poor start for them. Big win for Watford, you've got to say, but for Norwich, it's looking pretty bleak at the moment again.
Yeah, massive for Watford. To be honest, when they were last in the Premier League, they didn't exactly win loads away from home. Obviously, got relegated that season, but picking up those, few away wins, as well as winning at home and doing well at home is going to be crucial if they're going to stay up. As for Norwich, it's same old really. When they get in the Premier League, they don't seem to go anywhere. They seem to just fall flat, and I just want to see a bit more about them. I think they've got enough quality in that team to make a difference and sort of take a leaf out of Brentford's book, if you like, and sort of show the Premier League that they can actually make an impact and look to stay in the division. I'm not criticising them in terms of saying that they're not trying to avoid relegation, but I just feel like they're just not doing enough at the moment, and it's pretty worrying, even though it is early on in the season.
Obviously, as for Ismaila Sarr at Watford, another player, do you feel like if he has a great season, Watford might struggle to keep hold of him?
You know what? I'm so shocked they kept him last season, to be honest. When he was in the Championship, he was just unplayable, to be honest. Like, he should no way have been playing at that level, but they managed to keep hold of him. Obviously, there's plenty of interest. I know Liverpool were linked to Man United at one point as well. So you're always going to have interest in him because of his age and his quality. He always pops up with goals, assists. He's always a threat. It's everything you look for in a winger. So again, same as with St. Maximin at Newcastle. If the right offers put forward, I think Watford wouldn't be the type of club to turn it down. So yeah, every player has his price. So there's no reason why he won't get a bigger move in the future.
Also, Burnley 0, Arsenal 1. Massive win for the Gunners. Martin Odegaard back amongst the goals, obviously permanently signed for the Gunners now. Big win for Arsenal, you got to say. A couple of 1-0s in a row, and that'll do the confidence the world of good, because it was Arsenal's defence. Started the season very poorly, but a couple of big wins for them, really, to slowly climbing up the table.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that if you go back a couple of seasons, maybe even last season, Burnley would have probably beaten Arsenal on another day. But, to be fair to Arsenal, they rode the storm. Aaron Ramsdale, I felt, had a great game. Obviously, he was at my club before, Wimbledon on loan. So it's always good to see him doing well. But yeah, good free kick from Odegaard. Well taken. We all know he's a good technical player. But that's definitely an area he needs to add to his game, getting goals. And obviously, he took his goal very well. And in the end, they got that win, and that's what it's all about. Sometimes you've just got to grind out the victories, even if you're not playing at your best. So, yeah, fair play to Mikel Arteta and the Gunners.
Obviously, as for Burnley, let's be honest, I think most people are thinking eventually they will be in more of a relegation battle. Do you think, Sean Dyche, obviously, do you think this could be the season where Burnley are very much in and amongst the bottom three, or very much, in trouble anyway?
I'm not really sure. I always think I think Sean Dyche's a very good manager, and he clearly likes it at Burnley, and that's the reason he signed his new contract the other day. I just think they're sort of struggling to bridge the gap and sort of make the next step to sort of progress up the table and aim towards the top 10. I think they're sort of stuck in the mid-table mire, if you like. In terms of being relegation candidates, too early to say for me. I think as long as their defence is strong, I think they'll have a good chance of staying up, because I think that's what they've been built on mainly since Dyche took the job. Rarely conceding too many goals. It's very rare you see Burnley on the end of the 4 or 5-0 thrashing actually. So if they can keep picking up, wins here and there, and obviously not getting beat by too many, I think they should be okay and sort of finish the same sort of position they did last season.
Obviously, on to the next game at the Etihad Stadium. Man City 0, Southampton 0. Really good point for Southampton, but it could have been 3, judging on what was a pretty bizarre penalty decision in the end. What did you make of this? And does this game prove really how much Man City are missing that great striker?
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. It's very rare you see City frustrated at home, of course, and then you had the penalty incident, which was just bizarre, really. I mean, I think as much as I don't mind VAR, they're just not getting, they're not getting the decisions right that they should be getting right. And I think what we forget about VAR is it is another human being. It's not like a computer that's going to get every single thing right. But yeah, it's disappointing for Southampton because they could have easily picked up a win against the odds. And then going back to City, they did need a striker in the summer, and they just didn't get it. And I don't know why. Like I think okay, they want a Kane. They were also looking for Haaland, but if you can't get either of them, you've got to have a backup option. I'm sorry, you're a big enough club to have a list of targets that you're going to go for and go, he's number 3 on the list. We missed out on them 2. We'll go for him, and they didn't do that. And it reminds me of when Kompany left, and they didn't get a centre half in initially, and then they had to play Fernandinho at centre back, and then eventually they signed Ruben Dias in January. So they might come to that point in the season again and think, let's sign a striker now because we need more goals. But they've got enough quality in other areas to survive up to then without a striker. But yeah, they should have addressed that position during the summer for sure.
I mean, as for Southampton, what are you expecting from Ralph Hasenhüttl's men this season? A terrible end to the season last year, obviously the 9-0 loss at Old Trafford kind of just knocked their confidence and they never really recovered from that. But luckily they were high enough up in the table to not be dragged into a relegation battle. But what are you expecting from Southampton? They, of course, lost Danny Ings in the summer. Adam Armstrong hasn't really fired on all cylinders yet. So what are you expecting from them this season?
I think up on mid-table again, to be honest. I don't think they'll be in a relegation battle. Getting rid of Vestergaard, I don't even think was that big a blow because he hasn't exactly done that well at Leicester so far. And I know they got decent money for selling him on to them as well. And then, losing Ings was a massive blow. And it sort of came out of the blue as one of the few transfers that went under the radar and no one seemed to know about it. None of the big publications knew about it. No one was really reporting on it until it came out. And then you get Adam Armstrong in, who's obviously very unproven in the Premier League. He's, of course, proven in the Championship, scored, 28, 29 goals last season. So I think they're going to need Che Adams to step up again with the goals because you can't just rely on Armstrong in his first season in the top flight. So I think if they can get those two scoring in equal measure and, keep up a good defensive record, which they have done in the past over the years, then I think they'll be all right. I think there's enough quality in there. But losing Ings was obviously a massive blow.
Liverpool 3, Crystal Palace 0 at Anfield. Liverpool very much look back to themselves. You've got to say, last season, a lot of injuries. Not having the fans at Anfield certainly didn't help either. Liverpool so far this season, though, they've been excellent. And I think that Virgil van Dijk certainly looks like he's not missed a step.
No, absolutely. Liverpool always going to be up there as title contenders because of the squad that they have. And, the squad that they have is so good. That is why they don't necessarily add to it that much. Because, as managers regularly say, why should I sign a player unless I'm signing one that's better than what we have already? And, I look at their team and I think, they could do with one more striker maybe, but still they've got to be better than Firmino. They've got to be as good as Salah and Mane in terms of taking the chances and stuff like that. So it's a tough one, the Liverpool job, to be fair, but Klopp's obviously done an amazing job since he went in there, won the league, won the Champions League. But then you're just looking at it and thinking, where can they improve? Because the starting 11 is so strong. But if they keep everyone fit and don't encounter the injury issues that they did last season, which was crazy, by the way, so many players out, I think they'll be there or thereabouts for the title, but probably not as good as Chelsea and Man United.
Just want to ask about Mohamed Salah as well. Obviously, his numbers, of course, are absolutely magnificent in a Liverpool shirt. Do you think he could win the Golden Boot this season, Salah? I mean, he just continues season on season to keep producing these numbers from the wing. It's going unnoticed now because it's become so normal to him. And how highly do you rate the Egyptian?
Yeah, I think he's up there as one of the best players in the league. He's not necessarily as skillful and as technical as some other players, but he's good at what he does in terms of taking his chances, scores all types of goals really, and he's sort of developed more from being a winger to being an actual poacher in the box. He can get in the 6-yard box to finish his chances as much as he can curl in a 30-yarder. He's just a great all-round attacking player, and you sort of run out of superlatives for him really, and of course he'll definitely be up there for the Golden Boot. There's no reason why he can't get 20 goals again or maybe even 30. It all depends on the service to him, and obviously he's getting that right now. So long may it continue if you're someone of Liverpool persuasion.
Yep, and now we're going to move into Saturday evening. Aston Villa 3, Everton 0. The game where you can say Leon Bailey came alive in an Aston Villa shirt, but a little bit of a bump for Rafa Benitez's men, really. Who've had a very good start to the season, Everton. But what did you make of this game and a very good result for Aston Villa?
Yeah, it's interesting. Everton's, like you say, had a very good start to the season and just a frustrating result all round for them, really. Didn't create too much in the way of chances, and Villa just seemed to take them apart. Obviously, I think the own goal didn't help things with Digne, obviously accidentally heading it into the back of his own net, which sort of almost put the nail in the coffin at 2-0. And then obviously Bailey was run through and absolutely smashed one in for 3-0, and that was it, game over really. So with Everton, obviously they haven't signed too many new players. They've got a few in, Andros Townsend and Damari Gray, two decent options from the wing, cheaper options as well, which is interesting considering the the financial might that Everton do have nowadays. They spent very shrewdly, but they're proving to be decent additions. So they're going to have results now and again like this, but if they want to be up there fighting for the top six, then they've got to be winning games against arguably Aston Villa, probably one of their competitors for European places, I'd say.
Yeah, very good result, Villa, as you say. And I think these are two teams who are going to be in and amongst them, European places. So big result for Villa. Now we move on to Sunday, and we're going to talk about Brighton versus Leicester first. Big win for Brighton, and what a start to the season it's been for Graham Potter's men. But as for Leicester, do you feel like, the wheels are starting to come off a little bit there for Brendan Rodgers right now?
They go through phases of having sort of patchy results, really. I sort of had it towards when they went on to win the FA Cup last season. Their league form wasn't the best, and sometimes you just got to have a bit of patience with them. That consistency is what stopped them from getting into the Champions League. Unfortunately for them, because arguably they've deserved to qualify in some seasons recently. But again, there's enough quality there for them to achieve whatever they want to achieve. Yuri Tillemans is, for me, up there, one of the best midfielders in the league. Jamie Vardy, it doesn't even need saying, obviously one of the best strikers in the league. There's so many good individuals in there. I just think sometimes they lack, but just to finish in a top four. And losing to Brighton away, obviously Brighton have started the season really well. It's just disappointing, isn't it? Two sort of sloppy goals as well, I felt, which isn't great. But it's still early days, and I wouldn't write Leicester off just to. Sorry, I wouldn't write Leicester off just yet. Is what I was going to say.
Brighton actually find themselves in fourth place right now. Brighton are always that team, really, under Potter especially, where they always play good football, but have always lacked that finishing touch really to get the big results. But do you feel like if Potter gets it right this year, though, it could be a big season for the Seagulls?
Yeah, I mean, they could be outsiders for UEFA Conference League, which is obviously the third competition that UEFA brought in this season. I think it's all down to Neil Maupay. If he keeps on scoring the goals, obviously tucked away his penalty well against Leicester. If he can keep on scoring goals like that, then I think, there's no reason why they can't look at finishing in the top 10. Their defence is obviously good enough. Lewis Dunk, say what you like about him, but he's pretty consistent, pops up with a goal or two now and again as well. They just don't really have a goal scorer, so that's where Maupay comes in. He's proven before when he was at Brentford that he can score the goals. He's just got to do it regularly in the Premier League. So we'll see with them. I mean, great start, but can they continue it? That's a big question.
And of course, West Ham United 1, Manchester United 2. It had to be Jesse Lingard with the winning goal. It just had to be. Obviously, and the big talking point, the last-minute penalty miss as well from Mark Noble. A crazy game of football, but a big 3 points for Manchester United in the end. Yeah,
huge. Again, I don't think they were at the best, but that's what wins your titles. Picking up those 3 points in games where you're not necessarily on top, but you're taking your chances. If you've got Ronaldo on the pitch, he's obviously always capable of getting a goal or two. And it was classic sort of poacher's finish. Tried to flick it in, and then followed it up. That's just like years of training and just getting those basics right. And that's why he has so many goals, and that's why he scores so consistently, because he's just got those habits to his game. And then obviously for Lingard to come on, he's looked like a man possessed since he went back to Man United. Obviously, the loan spell at West Ham did him really good. He was very unlucky not to get in the England squad for the Euros. It was brilliant to see him score that goal. And West Ham will be a little bit hard done by for obviously missing the penalty through Noble. But I thought it was a bit unnecessary pressure bringing him on just to take the penalty, really. But great win for Man United. West Ham's not an easy place to go. So I'm sure they'll be looking ahead to their next game and be looking to pick up another win.
Yeah, massive win for United. They were expected to be right up there in the title race. But now we're going to move on to the final game of the weekend. Tottenham Hotspur 0, Chelsea 3. All that can be said right now is Chelsea are looking very strong, and most people will argue title favourites. Another big win for the Blues, who, let's be honest, played Tottenham off the park in the end.
Yeah, they absolutely battered them, to be honest. I think it could have been easily more than 3 if Spurs hadn't had a bit of luck on their side, to be honest. Lukaku, unreal signing. Again, sort of came. There was a few whispers about him potentially going there, and then he sort of came out and said, "I'm going to stay at Inter Milan." But then I think the Chelsea interest grew stronger and became more real for him. And obviously he wanted to go back to the club that he supported as a boy. Obviously done really well. I mean, didn't even find the net on Sunday, but they didn't need it in the end. They're so strong defensively. Rudiger obviously getting the goal. I think he's been one of their standout players so far this season, and putting him alongside the likes of Thiago Silva and Azpilicueta, that's three really experienced, top quality options that can just hold down that back three / back five if you include the wing backs as well. And I think Marcus Alonso is also a really good outlet for them on the left. His deliveries into the box and popping up with goals as well is just superb. So yeah, they were fully deserving as a result. And I think Tottenham will be taking a long, hard look at themselves and at the training grounds this week.
Do you feel like, despite winning their opening 3 games of the season by 1-0, do you feel like this is a bit of a transitional stage for Spurs at the moment? Obviously, last season wasn't really the best, obviously sacking Jose towards the end of the season. Nuno coming in from Wolves, obviously. Nuno was kind of running out of steam at Wolves, you can probably argue. Do you think Tottenham's going to be a bit of a transition season? They've got a big game next week as well, the North London derby against Arsenal. So they better get it together quickly, I guess.
Yeah, no, it is a transition season for them. Obviously, again, their managerial recruitment process was drawn out for months. It was becoming a bit of a joke, really. The amount of amount of managers that were linked with the role and then didn't get it was really strange. Like, I was convinced Pochettino was going to go back there, but then he didn't stay at PSG, and I think they handed him a new contract as well. And obviously they've ended up with Nuno, who done great work at Wolves. No one can deny that, win the Championship and also sustaining them in the Premier League, getting them into Europe. But Tottenham's got so much higher expectations, and he's obviously following Mourinho, so the fans are expecting a manager who's going to take them to that next level, win trophies, be consistent, play attractive football, and it just hasn't happened so far. You talk about the 1-0 wins, but you look at those games, especially the Wolves away game, they probably should have lost that game. They weren't great. They got their goal through Dele Alli, but aside from that, they were really under the cosh on Wolves because they were so wasteful. That's the only reason they lost. So yeah, it is a transition period. I think he could have maybe brought in a few more players during the transfer window, but obviously it was dominated by Harry Kane and talk over his future. So maybe they would have got some more in if he had moved to Man City as many expected. But he stayed put in the end, and again, he was pretty anonymous against Chelsea, so they need to get him firing again.
I'm going to ask as well, Chris, who is your Premier League team of the week as well?
It's got to be Chelsea for me, mate. I think complete performance away at Spurs, a big statement to their league rivals, to Man United, to Liverpool, and obviously to Man City as well. Just showing that they can turn up on the big occasion, really. I mean, as we saw at the end of last season, turn up in the Champions League final. I think a lot of people had said, me included, that Man City would win it because we just thought they had superior quality. But Tuchel's shown that he's a manager who can adapt to the Premier League really well in such a short space of time. And he's getting all these challenges and he's overcome them each one and just keeps going. German efficiency, if you like. So yeah, it's definitely Chelsea for me, mate.
Yeah, very good performance from Chelsea and looking very strong this season. Just going to touch on your club briefly, AFC Wimbledon, a 1-0 defeat at Sunderland over the weekend. A bit of a disappointing result, but you've got to be happy with Wimbledon's start to the season, I imagine.
Yeah, it was Plymouth, but yeah, to be fair, we did lose to Sunderland recently, so you're not far wrong. We lost 1-0 to Plymouth. We weren't at our best. We didn't really have many clear-cut chances. We had about 2 or 3 shots on target. Probably the biggest chance of the game when Ayuba Sal got put through on goal. But the angle was very tight, tried to go around the keeper, and the keeper managed to smother it at his feet and prevent him from getting the shot away. But yeah, no, not too disappointed. Sometimes you are going to get games like that where you struggle to create chances and struggle to break teams down that sort of sit in a low block. But no, only 2 defeats in the league, including the Sunderland one that you mentioned, and obviously Plymouth one on Saturday. But no, we've got this League Cup game against Arsenal to look forward to on Wednesday. Very little pressure on us because we're away from home, but obviously we want to go there, give a good account of ourselves and sort of show them that we can't be pushed around just because we're in League One. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how we got on there, and then we've got on a couple of away games in the league against Shrewsbury and Rotherham, which is obviously not an easy task for anyone. But yeah, no, I've got a lot of faith in this team, and I've seen a lot of good things so far this season. So long may it continue.
Yeah, man. Any other talking points from EFL that you want to mention from the weekend?
Yeah, I think Stephen Reid picking up a result as Forest caretaker manager. I think that's a really big boost for them. Obviously, switched up the formation and grab them back again in the goals. So yeah, if they can keep Brennan Johnson performing as he is, then I think they've got a really good chance to turn it around under probably Steve Cooper when he gets appointed. Because let's be honest, I don't really see anyone else getting the job at this stage. I think he's been so strongly linked with it, like we spoke about the other night when we done the championship show. So yeah, no, it'd be interesting to see how Steve Cooper gets on there. Obviously, a few bright young players there like Martin and Johnson, and then if they can keep grabbing and scoring, then yeah, they could turn things around.
Yep, excellent. Well, that's all we've got time for this evening anyway, Chris, but thank you very much for joining me on the Footballing Weekend Review. Hope everyone enjoyed, and I will see you all soon.